Hi everyone, it's Emma Watson and I'm here today with my friend and colleague Sue Hughes. Today we're chatting about how our lives continue to evolve and change in all areas, but especially in the exercise and food realm. Good morning to you, Sue. How are you today?
I'm good, thank you, Emma. It's lovely to see you.
You too. So Sue, talk to me about how your life changes and continues to evolve in this area. What have you noticed? What are you dealing with?
Well, I've noticed specifically when life throws you lemons and how my responses are now different, particularly in the area of food, but in other areas as well. And I know that what I take into my body has a big effect. How I move has a big effect. Being more aware with more tapping has had a huge effect. So, just a little example over this weekend. So, life's had, I think, quite a large bowl of lemons recently for me.
Sometimes they come
What
in
do you do?
groups, don't they? It's
Well,
not just one lemon. Yep.
yeah, so it was a whole bowl of lemons, and there's one lovely wag who says, well, what do you do with a bowl of lemons? You make lemonade. Well, actually, with my sugar issues, I wouldn't make lemonade, but I do love lemons. Anyway, these ones I think were quite round and hard, and they hit me quite hard. So over the weekend I was away and I had time for reflection. And I was in a situation, I was staying with a friend, and this is a lovely friend of over 40 years duration, one of my very best friends, who I don't see that often because she lives 300 miles away. But anyway, and so as people who've been watching these videos will know, for me, sugar is like cocaine, and I choose to stay away from sugar. I have a wheat sensitivity, and I also have I stay. I don't completely eliminate dairy from my diet, but I've discovered over the years that it doesn't do me too much good. So a little bit of milk in tea is fine, but anything beyond there can cause me to feel uncomfortable. Anyway, my lovely friend is so not food orientated.
Oh my
But
goodness.
I know. So basically, what there was to eat over the weekend was cheese and fruit. Okay, that was challenging for me. But I thought, well, okay, if it's cheese and fruit, it's cheese and fruit. And, there were oatcakes there, and so I had some oatcakes. But I thought, oh, God, this is a little bit uncomfortable. And also, I was in a state where I was having to sort out a few things in my mind and in my heart because life had been a bit tricky. So over the weekend, I ate plenty of cheese. But I rediscovered for myself, that cheese actually is a trigger for me to go into other unhelpful foods. And so I found myself on the way home, I hadn't had much to eat. And so I got myself something sweet at the petrol station. And I thought, and I ate it the same way as I used to eat when I was binging. But I chose to notice, okay, well, how is this making you feel? What's going on for you in your body whilst you're doing that? And what's going on in your mind and your emotions whilst you're doing that? And I thought, I'm really not enjoying it. I thought, oh my goodness, what am I going to do with this? This used to be my go-to
Isn't
substance.
that so different, Sue? Because I used to get into the sort of I used to call them mini binges, but there was no
Yeah.
thought about what am I doing and how am I feeling. It was just autopilot. So
Yeah.
interesting that you were able
So, so I ploughed on through this
to.
sweet substance, and I
Okay.
thought, oh, this really is not good. And but again, interestingly, I didn't beat myself up about it. It was like accumulating information and reinforcing the information I knew had been accurate. And I thought, well, I'm really glad I'm going home where I've got fruit, I've got vegetables, I've got helpful protein for me in the fridge. I've got all the foodstuffs I need in my house, and I have control over that. And it wasn't prescriptive. I mean, I won't do it now, but I could take you to my food cupboards now. And I'm thinking, what's really changed is that my whole system lights up at the stuff that does me good. And that is such a shift for me, such a shift. So I woke up on Monday morning thinking, oh, this feeling of relief that I could get back into a way of eating that was really helpful for me. And I found over the last 48 hours that my whole system has steadied. So, you know, the sugar's gone, the flour has gone. I'm gone back to sort of tiny quantities of dairy. Now, because I've been emotionally compromised, that's the best way of describing it, I reckon. You know, when those lemons come.
That is a good, emotionally compromised. I like that. Yeah.
And I hadn't been bad. I hadn't, but neither had I. I hadn't done anything to. This sounds ridiculous. I hadn't done anything to deserve this pain. Sounds terribly melodramatic, but I hadn't. So yeah. I wasn't beating up on myself. But again, just gently observing. So I found myself eating sufficient, because when you get emotionally stirred up, you actually do physically get depleted as well. And I think sometimes we can be really hard on ourselves and say, oh, I must be like this, I must do this, I must do that. And as you say, you know, you get rigid, and then you haven't replenished yourself physically, because obviously eating cheese all weekend, you know, I was slightly depleted in the things that I needed, particularly if I was emotionally compromised. So the last 2 days have just been steadying the ship, calming it down. I realise I haven't put on any weight over the weekend. I had sufficient calories, so the weight issue wasn't a problem. You know, my jeans are comfortable. I'm happy in my jeans. And now that the sugar and the flour have left my system, I'm thinking, oh, this is such a nice place to be in. And how interesting the emotional stuff can be seen for just what it is.
I just want to highlight a point you bring up there, because it's something I hadn't thought about before. When I was caught up with my food stuff, Sue, I would overestimate the damage I was doing. If I had, say, an equivalent weekend that you lived through, I would think, oh my goodness, this is going to make a massive impact on the scales. And my mind would just go to places that were ridiculous.
Yeah. And actually that reminds me that actually I haven't been on the scales for a couple of months now. Mm. And I do notice this change. I wasn't driven to get on the scales.
Wow. Okay. Fantastic. Yeah. Because there can be that thing of, I need to check.
Yeah. And it wasn't there. So sure, I had a slip, I had a whatever, but actually it wasn't. It was dealing with life as it came at me in a way that was, dare I say, normal.
Adapting to a set of circumstances. Yeah.
Yes, because life happens. Yeah. Normal life happens, and more challenging life happens.
Very cool. Very cool. So, how about we wrap up for today? Because that's been a great example, Sue, and I'm sure people will take lots from that. And next time we record, we'll chat about some things that have been going on for me. I've made some changes with my exercise routine. Perhaps we can get a bit of an update on yours and what's happening for you in that area. And let's talk more then.
Lovely. Thanks, Emma. Lovely.
Thanks so much for sharing that.
Thanks. Bye.